Interrupt this program to bring you a special report. Let's go!
Hey everybody, this is Joe with two-time Intercontinental Champion Tito Santana, and he's got one thing to say.
Hey Joe, WhattaDay! Arriba!
All right.
All right, Arriba. Happy Wednesday out there. WhattaDay Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Joe WhattaDay Lowry, joined by my partners in crime, the president of Thursday Night, Mr. Phil DeCesare, and of course the player, the Thursday Night Delight. Welcome, gentlemen.
How do we follow
Joe?
Tito Santana? Jeez.
Yeah, Arriba.
Cool.
It's probably one of the best WhattaDays I've ever had. But
I love that one.
Spot on
He looks great too, doesn't he?
He really does.
It's great.
Good, healthy living, man. That's really
absolutely phenomenal. He agreed to do that. He just knocked it out of the park too. One take too. Only took one take. So he was a professional and all sorts of stuff. What's happening, guys? I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's May already, man. Wow.
Mayday. Yes. Yeah, it's Mayday.
Mayday, right?
Mayday.
Sam Malone's day. Mayday Malone.
Oh yeah, of course.
All that
Cheers,
good
baby.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to thank everybody that's tuning in right now in the chat. I appreciate it. Looks like Jason's in the house. I saw some other people here. Little Patty's there. Hey, what's going on?
Bruce is here too.
Bruce is here. I see him. Some Like It Hot. I like that. That was a good movie, by the way. Some Like It Hot.
Great movie.
Yeah.
So thank you. I know stragglers will be coming in. Trust me, nothing's happening on AEW tonight.
Hello to Joe Myers.
I'm just gonna watch. You could probably watch AEW on mute tonight. I don't think anything's gonna happen. But
Can you hear it?
no, I don't need to hear it. I'll just watch it on tape delay and see what's going on. But so we could I got a laundry list of items to go through today. But first up, WrestleMania speculation on if it's going to be in London, if it's going to be in Minneapolis, if it's going to be in Vegas, which is supposed front runner now for WrestleMania 41. You guys have any idea what's going on with this?
I see London. I see France. I don't see any underpants. I don't know.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Real quickly, though, Triple H was on X today via Spaces today, and he had this to say. He goes, everybody is always excited to know where WrestleMania is going to be. WrestleMania 41 announcement coming very, very soon. I promise that very, very soon. So in the world of WWE, very, very soon means what? This weekend while they're in France, this weekend, Friday, maybe when we get off the show tonight, there'll be some breaking news. I don't know. What does that usually mean in WWE terms? Very, very soon.
This month, maybe? Month of May?
Yeah. A lot of people out there speculating that The Undertaker just totally blew it on a podcast a couple weeks ago and said pretty much it's going to be in Vegas this year, next year. Obviously, nothing is confirmed at this point. Minneapolis was on the radar. I know Tiffany Stratton's hometown, Minneapolis, Minnesota. She was excited to have WrestleMania there. So I don't know. We don't know where WrestleMania is going to be. So if anybody has the inside scoop on that, please let us know. That would be greatly appreciated. So
yeah,
the one thing that's for certain is it's going to be money wherever it is.
Yeah, now that's the new thing. Now the cities actually pay WWE now, right? To have them host it.
There could be a bidding war, couldn't there?
Yeah, could be a bidding war. Now we were talking about possibly going to London, right? All that good stuff. The only positive thing I see that for Americans on the American side is that WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday will now take place at like 1 p.m. as opposed to Saturday and Sunday nights. So that's going to be a little bit. That'll be a little bit different.
I'd be cool with that from a personal sleeping schedule. That would be wonderful, actually. Yeah. And shades of the original WrestleMania, as you guys recall, it was an afternoon event.
Yeah, they were all like that. I remember. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You were home, already had dinner by 6 o'clock, and you did that. That's what you talked about at Sunday dinners. What happened? I mean, I like that time frame, but obviously with NFL and everything else just booming now on Sunday, so the WWE's locked into this 2-night deal, but. I don't know. I don't. We talked about it in the pre-show. That the fans didn't see. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, we just mentioned they're going to Paris. I mean, to France. Coming up. Of course, Paris is preparing for the Summer Olympics, so they're doing a lot to beautify the city and to make it really. I mean, more of a. It's already obviously it's a global tourist attraction, but maybe some of that money might be funneled towards WWE, and maybe they'll make an offer. That would be unique, wouldn't it?
Who knows? I know there's been some crazy speculation out there. I don't know. It's going to be somewhere, but I just think it's so late to announce this stuff because people do make travel plans and so forth a year in advance. And traditionally, the WWE has announced this during WrestleMania weekend. And so far,
they're a bit behind.
We're out a month. Yeah. Also, another thing to point out that if it is held in Vegas, I did read a story. This is confirmed that if it is held in Vegas this year, it's going to be held in May. WrestleMania will be moved to May.
Interesting.
So
for outdoor, to accommodate a better weather situation.
Well, they're inside anyways, but still, I think that was the whole thing with getting that venue. Whether or not there's other things involved, I don't know the logistics of it all. But I heard that if it does go to Vegas, it will definitely be in May.
So Sin City, huh?
Sin City.
Rather than Joe, the city of sin, Lynn, the city of sin. You never come out the way you go in.
I hear you.
I think we need to hit up Mr. Monty and to put a dent in the M&P budget and send us all to WrestleMania and do some on locations next year.
Wow, huh?
Yeah, I just got my press credentials for WWE circulating its way through the company right now. So I actually got an email today for press pass for Toronto for Money in the Bank. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep people updated on that.
You gotta buy one of those hats like from back in the day and stick the credential on the hat.
And with a trench coat and all that stuff.
A fedora, maybe, huh?
Yeah,
maybe a nice fedora.
I'll carry around like an old-fashioned telephone too, right? This just
there you go.
Good stuff. The chat's also awful active tonight. Pretty good. Thank you all for tuning in. Yeah, AEW agreed. It's a visual volume. It's boring. I get it. That's a good segue into this next one. Speaking of boring, did you guys see this comment the other day from Tony Khan? I'm going to put it up on the screen here.
God.
Obviously appearing on a post-draft show in neck brace and all that stuff, he pretty much said that the WWE is the Harvey Weinstein of professional wrestling. A lot of people have commented on this. Eric Bischoff said the guy's an absolute tool. There are WWE personnel there that are just really saying that the comments were uncalled for. What do you, Phil? I'll start with you first. What do you think about those comments by Tony Khan?
Well, that's a pretty loaded comment, and I mean, maybe you could make the argument that once before that might have given off the optics of it being the casting couch situation, but obviously the company's in new hands now, and I think the culture is going under a major transformation, considering just the sheer size of it now, and so I think he might have been speaking of the past. I don't know if he's speaking of the current situation. And again, poking the bear, as they say. Right. As Tony Khan acknowledges, and I think to some extent we all acknowledge that the war between the companies is really is the primary conflict, and everything else seems to spin off of that. So I kind of appreciate the baiting and everything else, and Harvey Weinstein was definitely an odious individual for sure, with a lot of very questionable political connections.
The player. What are your thoughts on that comment?
I was going to say two things.
What is it?
First thing I was going to say is that Tony Khan is the preparation H of professional wrestling, but he's not even that. He's actually the hemorrhoid. And I compare AEW to a beautiful restaurant. You have all the best high-tech equipment. You have, the state-of-the-art facilities. You fly in lobster from Maine and, caviar from wherever. And, the only problem is that Tony Khan is the chef.
Yeah, it's just horrible. Yeah, I agree. And he came out and said, any press is good press. And I get that philosophy and so forth. But This guy's an absolute tool. It's just making MJF's promo from last May look even more concrete when he called Tony Khan an effing mark. It just didn't look right.
Punk
The whole
called him a
skit
clown.
last week didn't look right. Being in the draft room during the NFL draft, the war room there with the neck brace on and not even selling it like he should have been. He was turning his neck. Yeah, it was just absolute garbage time. And, I did my rant this week for Bill After Sportskeeda newsletter this week. And I just talked about, that kayfabe tour needs to be put to rest and to bed like immediately. Enough's enough already. That's pretty much what the title of it was. Enough. But one good thing out of AEW this week is look at this one, huh? What a good signing this was.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting.
Wow,
I've been a fan for a long time.
Yep, I've had the chance to see her with NWA on the shows and all that. She's the real deal. She's got some talent.
She was like Sabu for a long time in that she didn't speak, and I understand her very first words when she spoke were "What a day!" So
you're probably right on that.
Woman,
you'd be surprised how many people say "What a day."
Wow,
that's unbelievable. So that's a cool signing. I like that, Camille.
Great signing.
These are all great signings, but as far as I'm concerned, these guys can sign Hulk Hogan, and AEW can sign Hulk Hogan in his prime, and they would still drop the ball. They just don't know what to do.
Well, using my analogy, they have all the right ingredients. They just can't mix them together correctly.
I mean, Mercedes Moné will be, I think it's going to be a total of 76 days since her first television appearance to her match with Willow Nightingale at the end of May, a Double or Nothing pay-per-view. 76 days, and she hasn't wrestled once yet. And by the way, she was signed back in December of 2023. This is your $4 or $5 million a year athlete getting paid for, doing absolutely nothing. I mean, even Roman Reigns wrestled a little bit, better time frame than that. But I just,
he's a workhorse compared to her.
Oh, no kidding. It's just, it's really sad. I was a Sasha Banks fan and all that stuff. And the WWE was smart. They didn't put her in promos. She's not a good promo person. She never has been. And they got her cutting these 4 to 5 minute promos. They hand her a microphone and say, go out there and do a little dance and do your promo. And it's cringing. It's almost like Elaine Bennett Seinfeld moment. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can compare it to at this point. But
Shining Star.
Shining Star. So we
love that song.
Yeah, that is a good song, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So Liv Morgan, what do you guys think of Liv Morgan's thing going on here so far? The question for this one is, will the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour net her the WWE Women's World Championship? This whole thing, the chair to the face with Rhea Ripley knocking her out to the point where she had to vacate her title. Then, of course, she was kind of involved with the Battle Royal last week, losing to Becky Lynch. And then, of course, just last night, I don't know if I'm sorry, this past Monday night on Raw, we had Liv and Dom. Kathy Kelly was interviewing Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso backstage. Out goes Liv up the left side there. And then a second later, out comes Dominic out of the same room. And then they matched them up on TV a week before. In all honesty, I love the exposure for Liv Morgan, but is she going to get the belt out of all this? Is all this worth it? What do you guys think of that? Benny, you go first.
Well, I mean, I thought, if anything, why didn't they just let her win the Battle Royal? I mean,
that's what I said.
They went through they went to the trouble of having her put Rhea out of commission. Right? Yeah. And why didn't they just give her the belt? I mean, I do think she gets it. I just don't know why they didn't do it right away.
She's smoldering. She's smoldering, and since that arrest, I think she's really just turned things around. And I mean, if nothing else, I mean, this is just laying the groundwork for however many weeks or months down the road it is for a potential feud with Rhea. So obviously, they're doing big things with her, and right now she's got that element that you can't quite put your finger on. I think there's something special. There's a spark now, and I hope they do take advantage of it.
I mean, she's got an impressive resume. She beat Ronda Rousey for the title. She cashed in Money in the Bank on that SmackDown. So, what do you think? What's next for Liv Morgan? I mean, there's going to be an end game somewhere.
Too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but she lives with Bo Dallas on a farm. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Okay.
Yep, they live together. They have a farm. They've been to weddings together and so forth. So that part kind of intrigued me as well.
So is she the new mommy and then the new champion? And then Rhea comes back and tries to unseat her.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, we don't know where that's going to go. We don't even know the extent of Rhea's injury, actually. We don't know how long this, I mean, surgery required. We still don't know. I mean, I know they like to keep that stuff under, tight watch, but that
You
injury.
know, yeah, I think it's the element of surprise too. Maybe this is the one thing that they can control in terms of the flow of information, because now we're really in an age that's devoid of surprises, given just all the social media and just cameras everywhere. And my gosh, the exposure of all these people, it's almost overexposure at this point,
You mean kind of like this next picture, overexposure? Stephanie McMahon appeared on Raw this past Monday, her second televised appearance in as many weeks since WrestleMania. And again, noticeably absent from this is her wedding ring to Paul Levesque, aka Triple H. What do you guys make of this? Her not wearing her rings in public. Anybody?
I would say that in the WWE wastes nothing. There's a reason for everything, and if she's not wearing her wedding ring, there's a reason behind it. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Triple H still wears his, but again, this is noticeable. Presentation is key. We are a society now that examines everything, and I think I just started to comment that we are over-informed as people, as Loose Cannon says it. So when you look at this,
I agree with that.
Okay, what's up? Like, okay, if you don't want to wear your ring, that's fine. But a lot of people are commenting on it now. A lot of speculation is happening. What's the deal? Phil, what do you think about that?
That's a real good question. And you know what? And I credit you guys for noticing it. Because that's the sort of thing that just I never would have noticed, because that's maybe how inattentive I am. But yeah, does this figure into a storyline? It's hard to determine that, because obviously Triple H has made it perfectly clear he's never going to be stepping in the ring in an active capacity again. So how that could create a storyline, I don't know. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe they just had a big fight, and maybe this is her statement. I don't know. It's a heck of a statement and a message. So. But you noted that he's still wearing his, so there is hope still. I hope.
I mean, we could speculate all we want. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. I think there was a lot more comments on her appearance again with the lawsuit going on. She's now been officially named as corporate executive number 3 or whatever in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. So she's embroiled in that, whether she likes it or not.
Yeah.
Whether it's via name or guilty by association, all that stuff. Do you go ahead and parade her on TV like nothing's going on? I mean, does that set? I mean, what is TKO thinking of that? If they're thinking of that at all, it kind of raises those questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we live in an age that's so quick to judge. So I mean, let those legal matters play out. And in the interim, why deprive people of their life and liberty? And
Sure.
And it's nice to have someone from the family still involved. I mean. We get nostalgic and it doesn't seem like the same place. The company's been identified with the family for decades.
Exactly.
Going back to Vince Sr., going back even before to Jess McMahon.
Yeah, Jess McMahon.
Going way back, a boxing and wrestling promoter.
Do you think that might be a reason why they're parading her out there with the McMahon name? Because they know she's married to Paul Triple H Levesque. They're now showcasing Triple H as Paul Levesque. Why can't we use Stephanie Levesque? But I mean, did they keep that McMahon name out there? I mean, when you think about it, now that Vince has sold all his shares or is about to, and all, there is no lineage in that company to the McMahons anymore. When it's all said and done with them being bought out by TKO. So is that what it is? Just to throw McMahon on TV there? Is this a directive from Vince McMahon that we don't know about? Who knows?
I think for whatever reason, TKO still thinks there is some value to the McMahon name, not Vince's maybe, but Stephanie's.
Yeah, I just find it awful strange that, again, if you're just joining us here, Stephanie McMahon again seen on national TV not wearing her wedding ring. Is there something going on? There has been speculation for a while, nothing concrete. It's all speculative, but it is what it is. You see what you see, but putting her out there on TV in that situation. What kind of precedence does it show with the lawsuit going on and so forth and her being named? So
I'm kind of hoping she's hooking up with the boogeyman. That'd be great.
Speaking of hooking up, looks like Loose Cannon wants to date her, wants to take her to Denny's.
There you go.
There's no Denny's around here in Iowa, that's for sure. There are no Denny's.
Maybe Bob Evans.
Bob Evans. Yeah. Bob, what is with that Bob Evans? I see that mashed potatoes in the supermarkets, but sorry, we'll move it on here. So what'd you guys think of the draft? Does anybody have any input on this so-called draft? I know I've been talking with RJ Hudson online and so forth. Real quickly, I can sum up the draft in one word.
Go ahead.
Sucked.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
Sucked.
Other than seeing Ron Simmons and a few of the other notables from the past, which is always nice.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Hard to watch when they have so few matches and just so much of this hype,
It is hard to watch. Benny, did you watch any of that? Did you do any homework?
I watched some of it. It was really hard. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. Like, you're drafting Ricochet before you're drafting Drew McIntyre.
Oh,
right there, like, any credibility the draft had is squashed.
What blew it out of the water for me was last Friday night when the very first skit, promo, whatever you want to call it, vignette, was Paul Heyman being interviewed and automatically said Roman Reigns is out of the draft because he wants to be right then and there. Your number one guy, your number one pick has chosen to take himself out. I knew it was going to go downhill from there. I was like, this is absolutely horrendous to do this. A lot of questions remain. And then when the supposed draft ended, other people still got drafted and there's still going to be trades to take in place. I have so many things going through my mind right now, but one of the things is I always thought the draft was a way to get viewers' attention during the summertime. I've never seen a draft done right after WrestleMania on the heels of a premium live event, which is in France this weekend. And with so much turmoil going on in the company, all of a sudden you're going to have this crazy 2-night draft. And when it's all said and done, I have a little graph here. If you guys can read it, out of all the wrestlers that were involved, these are the ones that only switch brands. In taking consideration, there are a couple of NXT. I do believe Carmelo Hayes went to SmackDown. Braun Breaker, who was on SmackDown, then became NXT Tag Team Champ with Baron Corbin, got drafted to Raw. So technically, Braun Breaker should be the first guy ever to wrestle for all three promotions in 1 month. I don't know if you can call that, but and of course, Ilya Dragunov, Blair Davenport, Lyra Valkyrie, all went from NXT. Those are great signings. For their respective brands. But out of all the trades out of all the drafts that could have happened, you're telling me 20 or so people only switch brands. I mean, doesn't that tell you something? Like, if you're going to do a draft, shouldn't like the major plays, and I know the champions had exemptions, shouldn't they have all switched? Shouldn't they have done something? I'm just tongue tied over this because it was horrible. I watched the draft with anticipation. They said there could be many, many surprises. And lo and behold, on SmackDown, there were like literally no surprises. And people were fuming. They took to the social media and just really destroyed the WWE, saying this is horrible. And they said, oh, just wait till Monday. Why? Because there's an extra hour with the 3-hour venue. We're going to get the excitement. I found nothing attractive about the draft at all this year. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I like seeing Braun Strowman. That was cool.
Yeah, Braun Strowman was good. That's like I said, a couple of surprises, but it wasn't the draft like in the old days where you were plucked out of one brand and gone to another. It didn't matter. There
wasn't really much of a shakeup at all. Everything pretty much stayed the way it was.
Roman Reigns is still undrafted. And then then I was talking to somebody and they were like, they're drafting injured people like CM Punk and so forth. But then I said to myself, well, what about Charlotte Flair? She's out with an injury. She's not on. No, she hasn't been drafted. Where is she going to go when she comes back? You know what I mean? Will she go to Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, or all three? I don't know. But these are questions that there seem to be more questions than answers after this year's draft.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, it's just, PR stunt, whatever it is. It was great to see the guest legends come out and do their spiel. JBL with Ron Simmons was great. APA. Yeah, you knew you were going to get a damn out of Ron Simmons. Damn. It's good to see Medusa Maselli again, Alundra Blaze. Teddy Long, Playa. I thought of you, Benny. Playa. Yep. The Player was in the house. And of course, who could forget the Dudley Boys? It was a great appearance. I thought their appearance was better on Raw than it was on SmackDown because
they did a good job with that. They just didn't do a good job with the draft.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. So, it is what it is. So, I don't know. Well, we could talk to a blue in the face, but the draft overall to me just personally sucked. There was no reason for it. Nothing really changed. And who knows if anything is going to change.
Yeah. And does one brand really stand out over the other brand?
Yeah.
And I say that all due deference to NXT, but the blue and the red shows really, are the ones, prime time, that really the ones that we really look at. I mean, I love NXT, don't get me wrong. I really do. But, does SmackDown really come up to par with Raw? Are they even on a lower rung,
Yeah. Right now, again, the draft, poor timing. Again, Raw is going to Netflix next year. And then you got SmackDown moving to USA Network, and you have NXT going to WB. Do these networks have a say in what's going on? That's probably why a lot of the major players did not get drafted per se, like Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, the big names and so forth. And that was a good reason to hold the champions right where they were, because fact remains is these are key components to television rights deals. USA wants these talent, Fox wants these talents until they switch networks. So we don't know. It just made for bad television. And it took away some TV time for some people who probably needed it.
Sure.
So who knows?
On the topic of Netflix, and this goes to Joe and Benny, I don't have Netflix right now. I don't know if you guys do.
I do, yeah. I do.
You do? Okay. So that won't change anything for you then.
Not yet, but I just heard Peacock is now going up a couple of bucks.
Exactly. Yeah, they've just upped it a little bit too. So, and I mean, once you're in, you're in. I mean, who wants to cancel anyway? I wouldn't cancel. Peacock is good for some other reasons too. But
Leave It to Beaver reruns for me.
For what is it?
Leave It to Beaver reruns.
Yeah.
Love Leave It to Beaver.
Eddie Haskell. He became a policeman, after the series.
With the television rights deal with the streaming Netflix and all that WWE, things are up in the air too, because Peacock they're under contract for the premium content, the library, the video library, and of course WrestleMania and all that stuff, the premium live events. There's going to be that time where we're only going to be able to watch Raw on Netflix and still have to go to Peacock for something else. So whether or not these two get together and say, look, we're both sharing the same audience, you start doing a bundled package of some sort, because there's going to be that crossover until everything's edged in stone where, everything's fully transitioned over to Netflix, which might be a year or two. And that's even if Netflix is successful enough to complete this. They're still working out the kinks and the bugs and so forth. They've never done live television like this. That's why they get the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight coming up in July. That's going to be the first big test of a live event.
That's worthy of viewing, big time.
But you got to look at the logistical end of it. Are they going to be able to handle the traffic? Are they going to handle what's coming their way? So look up for. There's going to be some hiccups with this along the way.
Jake Paul has put on 30 pounds. He's, I think, in an effort to be able to absorb some Iron Mike's blows. And anyone will tell you, from Roy Jones, who fought him just within the last few years, to his training partners, he still is ferocious. He still deals the most devastating body blows. He's still explosive and powerful. So, part of us worries about him because he's going to be 58 fighting a guy 30 years his junior. But my Lord, maybe we should worry about Jake.
Nice. Patty Shore says, hi, everyone from Centerville. Hi to see you.
Well, hello.
Hi, Patty.
And Gary Lee Myers. Oh, Baby Cake's brother. Lee, what's happening? Greetings from Massachusetts. They're coming from all over the place. Nice.
Hey, Gary Lee.
Gotta love that. And, of course, the chat's hopping and rolling. I saw the boss in there a little while ago. He was talking about some Jiffy Time stuff and all that.
I think he's trading me to AEW for Sky Blue.
Sky Blue. There you go.
I would make that trade. Hell yeah.
He'd trade us all for Sky Blue, man.
Oh, yeah. I'll
they, like we talked about with AEW, they have this tremendous talent. In part of my column today with Bill Apter's newsletter was the only silver lining in all this comes in the form of black and white, and that's timeless Toni Storm. She's the only thing worth watching on AEW right now. That, to me, gets me to unmute the TV and listen, because I love the production quality with that. She comes out in black and white. They do the half screen where she's talking to somebody in color and she's in black and white. It's a great, great thing. And so far they've been doing good with that. I just hope they don't lose it over all this with Tony Khan and everything. So, but that is the only silver lining. Speaking of bad luck with AEW, did you guys see this over the weekend? Darby Allin was in New York City and got hit by a bus.
Oh, jeez.
With a broken foot, already out. with a broken foot. He was attending a Broadway show with whoever the guy is in the picture with him there. They were going to a Broadway show, and the guy gets clipped by a bus. Does that look like he got clipped by a bus? It looks like somebody took a baseball bat to his face.
That's the caption should be, you should see the other guy. Holy crap.
My God, this is crazy. I'm like looking at this going, he looks like, it looks like a profile of somebody who got severely beat up in New York City.
You hear about people running into parked cars. My Lord.
I just,
wow.
And the only thing that came out of this is that he's definitely out until June. His foot's still not healed. It's going to be a long time before we see him again.
This is yet another sign from the great above, I think, that he not try to climb Mount Everest right now.
Something's keeping him back.
The injuries just all of a sudden just piling up for this poor kid. Oh my Lord. The irony. He goes through glass. He does coffin drops from the top of the arena. Yep. All well and good. Crosses a street in New York City, and holy moly.
Yeah, that's the universe is talking to you in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost to the point where you got to say to yourself, I think you should probably take a good year off and just reevaluate.
I think he needs to go work for like Jiffy Lube or something like that, something safe.
No, that's too dangerous. A car might fall on him.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
you know what I mean. He just needs to sit behind. He needs, even go back AEW, do some producer role or something like that. Get the other side of the business, do something like that. But nonetheless, all right. So we're moving on here. So let me see what else have we got going on. All right, last piece of WWE stuff. We have 2 major pay-per-views or premium live events, as they call them, both in foreign countries in a matter of weeks. This weekend, Backlash takes place Saturday in France, and they're actually doing SmackDown on Friday, which is a very smart thing to do because we've heard about the travel woes occurring on Friday Night SmackDown, either coming or going to these places. And then, of course, at the end of the month, they're doing SmackDown in Saudi Arabia. And the next night, the King and Queen of the Ring. So my question to you guys, really, and to the audience out there is, what kind of toll is this going to take on the talent that's heading over there? These are major places to travel to, especially Saudi Arabia. That's a longer flight, obviously, than France. But what do you guys think? I mean, smart move, SmackDown on Friday nights, get everybody there early, get them accustomed to the time frame. You tell me, Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great that they're expanding in the European market, and what better place than France right now? Seemingly riots have quelled, so they seem to be, I think, in a relatively good place socially right now. So seems great. Yeah, acclimate the talent, and again, contrasted with Saudi Arabia, and we know what happened at that pay-per-view, particularly in the Goldberg Undertaker match not so long ago. Heat was such a factor, coupled with jet lag, and can make for a dangerous situation.
All right.
But
Benny, what do you think, player? What do you think about that?
I mean, the first W is world. So I love it. I think it's great. Let's do more of that. And I think that, the talent will, it'll be tough on them, but I think they'll recover. In my mind right now, WWE can't do anything wrong. I mean, they are on a roll. They are minting money.
Well, they're a multi-billion-dollar marketing machine, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it left AEW like in the absolute dust. Not that it was even a competition in the first place.
It brings up an interesting philosophy. Is WWE too big to fail at this point? Are they too big to fail now? Phil?
That's a good way to put it. Well, again, lest we not forget that when Vince started the expansion, other than the territories which he snapped up, there was really no other big player on the scene or waiting in the wings. And AEW saw really its rise to prominence when WWE was certainly kind of at the low point just a few years ago. But now, given everything, they have got the mojo, they've got the momentum. So maybe they're too big to fail, perhaps. I mean, how can they really?
Player, what do you think? Too big to fail?
They're like Mick Jagger and Elton John. If they put out a record, it's going gold just because they are Mick Jagger and Elton John. I mean,
that is
no
true.
matter, unless it's like absolutely horrible, but even then they're going to get, because of the fact that they're Mick Jagger and Elton John, they're going to get numerous free passes. And I don't see that happening with WWE. I mean,
and how the hell did you come up with Mick Jagger and Elton John together? Have they ever been together?
Not together. I mean, two different artists, just that, whatever they release, it's going to be a smash hit. just
good.
because
I
of
like
virtue of who it is. Same thing with WWE. And
So, Phil, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say it was actually Mick Jagger and David Bowie together, if you know what I mean, from back in the day.
Yeah. But I just thought that was a great. Benny, it was funny. Just that sounds like something.
I just thought of two random guys, like
there you
two
go.
icons.
Yeah. And they're both knighted too, I think. They're both Sirs, so you're right on track, man.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no way at this point that WWE derails.
Yeah, no way.
And you know what? They not only that, but I think they're benefiting from, and I'll use the word in quotes, the competition from AEW. You know, it really is a good thing. It's a great way to distinguish your brand. And it's a great way to really make it a little bit easier when it comes to talent, acquisition. And I just think it's, I like the fact that we have two companies. Granted, they're at different levels. They're competing now, offering something different. I know a lot of people here aren't fans of AEW. I still tune in. I still enjoy a lot of their stuff, but I do also share concerns that you guys have too with them.
Nice. All right, we're gonna have to take a quick break, but when we get back, we got a couple of interesting pieces. We're gonna be talking hot dogs, Miss Elizabeth, and a crazy voicemail. So don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere.
Not all together.
My imagination is.
Here you go. Let's pay some bills. We'll be right back.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
For years, we were known as Central Veterinary Associates. And we know that some of you were not exactly thrilled with the services that were provided.
But a new day has arrived. We're changing and will now be known as Premier Veterinary Medical Group.
But it's much more than a name change. It's a new management team, a new attitude, with a new state-of-the-art modern facility in Rockville Centre, New York.
We're going all out to provide the best possible care for your pets. And that includes 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week emergency care from a team of highly trained professional emergency care veterinarians.
So check out the all-new Premier Veterinary Medical Group. We're ready to serve Nassau and Queens counties with compassion, commitment, and the utmost confidence.
And we have immediate openings for overnight emergency vets with great pay and outstanding benefits. Contact us today at premierveterinarymedicalgroup.com/careers.
Tired of that same old breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Same old tasting scrambled eggs, burger, that dinner steak, ribs, or pork chops? Why not add a little bit of spice or just a touch of heat to make the difference? Change that scrambled egg with a little bit of Johnny Fabulous's John Cena Sr.'s $1 Million Jalapeno Hot Sauce. Great on burgers, steaks, chops, and those barbecued ribs.
Looking to improve your fitness business while keeping your bottom line in good shape? Let the Gym Administrator help you achieve those goals. With their powerful team of fitness industry professionals at the ready, the Gym Administrator covers a wide range of industry-related products and services that will help you build your business and increase profits. The Gym Administrator works with reliable industry suppliers and vendors that place a heavy emphasis on service, just the way you remember it. Give them a call at 914-494-1066 or visit them on the web at thegymadministrator.com, as well as all social media platforms. The Gym Administrator, all your fitness needs under one roof. Scan the barcode at the bottom of the screen to get started today.
Hey everybody, welcome back to What a Day with Joe Lowry. We got special guests here, Phil DeCesare, the president of Thursday Night, and of course, the Thursday Night Delight, the player, Benny Scala. Thank you both so much for joining us. And I forgot to say, What a Day Wednesday, the week's middle finger. We're halfway to and it's coming up sooner than we think. But hey, real quickly, we had like 19 tornadoes touch down in Iowa the other night.
I was thinking of you, Joe. I heard a lot of.
We actually had the last night. We had some crazy weather roll in. We had a beautiful day. And then somewhere around 4:00, things just took a nasty turn. And from 4 to like 8:30, for the first time, we got an award. You get the tornado watch and alerts and all that. We actually got the one that says seek shelter now, get in your basement, that type of thing. So that was kind of different for us. Me, I'm out on the front porch looking at the whole thing and, want to see what's going on. But It was wild. It's been wild here, and a lot of devastation up in the northern part of the state. So thoughts and prayers to everybody up in northern Iowa and Nebraska.
Certainly.
Midwest has just been getting hammered lately with some crazy weather. So, and it's still unstable today. We've had sun and clouds, and there's just been that threat of severe thunderstorms and so forth every day. So it's just been crazy weather. But moving on here, I want to thank everybody else for joining us in the chat. You guys have been lovely. So, you guys, I did a story on this. We'll get right out to it here. I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago, but I did a story on this bad boy, the Balls Out Naked Bowling, right? It was actually held this past Sunday at the Kraft and Ingram Lanes in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 700 tickets were sold, $25 a whack. That means over 700 people occupied this place. Bowling naked. Now, obviously, there are no video cameras allowed and all that stuff. So the press was all over this, but it seems like nobody's talked about it since then. It just tells you that this Pittsburgh area naturist, that's who promotes this and supports it. They've sought out membership has been skyrocketing. So I got to ask you, Benny, down there in beautiful Florida, do you guys have some naked bowling going on down there?
No, but I think I'm going to buy 2 tickets to Pittsburgh and take part in it.
Get your
I heard there was a lot of accidents right at the ball return.
Unbelievable.
That's what I was wondering.
Phil, what about down in Massachusetts? I'm from there as well. I don't recall nude bowling taking place, but what do you think? Is there anything happening up there now?
No, not so much. We might have a couple beaches on the Cape, Joe, as you know, that might be of that, and a few communities that are allowing for the topless sort of exposition, you know. So, but yeah, nothing yet in terms of any type of sporting event or contact sports. But when you say there's 700 people, packed into that bowling alley.
It's a big bowling alley, too.
It would have to be. Can you imagine, if you've ever been in a crowded nightclub and just being, cheek gives a whole new meaning to cheek.
Well, I mean, typically a bowling alley has 48 lanes? I mean, that is a lot of people.
There's a lot of people. The thing is, too, is not everybody had to bowl. You had to pay your $25 at the door, and once you got in there, you had to strip your clothing and provide. You had to bring your own towel. Women had to wear G-strings or whatever in case they were menstruating and all that stuff. But it was totally it was fully nudity. No cameras, all that stuff, and so forth. So not everybody bowled. Some people just hang out there.
Just hung out, right?
What was the male to female, and I guess I should say, and other breakdown?
I've tried to research this. I can't find any information on it. To the point, I might even do some homework over the weekend and call them. But here's another thing too: the bowling alley that they rented out, were they nude as well? The people that work there. So these are some of the questions that I was wondering as well, since everybody who set foot in there, they were selling tickets at $25 had to be nude. Was the staff, or did they bring in staff, or were they trained? You know what I mean? Like, what was that ratio? Like, did they have to be nude, topless, whatever?
Where do you put your wallet?
That's what they said. You were allowed to carry like a purse and all that stuff.
Not even a fanny pack.
People do wear fanny packs, but clothing. It
really was a fanny pack.
It's really, if you go on their website, PVH Naturist, Facebook too as well, they have a lot of, I did my show on this a couple months ago. They have all the FAQs, frequently asked questions on staring, don't look down when talking to somebody, don't keep your legs spread open while talking to somebody. They have all these things that new people want to, like myself.
Fitting protocols.
So protocols, exactly. What to expect when you go there, right? People are there just it's an exhibition thing, I guess. I don't know.
Exhibition for sure, yeah.
When you read about some of the stuff, like there's girls etiquette that are very well endowed women that if they reach for a plate of food, they got to be careful their boobs don't go in the salsa sauce or whatever.
I hate it when that happens.
There is like this. I know, and there are questions about this and answers for it. It's kind of a neat thing. It's like, okay, men especially, what happens if you get an erection? What do you do? They all
call the doctor.
They all know it's Mother Nature. They know it's Mother Nature, and it's it is what it is. It's
a lot of side games are ring toss probably.
No sex allowed.
Cornhole too, I bet.
No PDA allowed, things like that. There's just nothing like, it's not a sexual thing. It's just, speaking of this, I'll just segue to the next thing. They've already announced their next event, which is in a couple of weeks. And get a load of this, folks. Let's go do some naked karaoke called Karaoke. Karaoke. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. But hey, if you're in the Pittsburgh area, Wednesday, May 15th, which I just think is like 2 weeks away, head over to the P-Town Bar in Pittsburgh for naked karaoke. I mean, if you thought bowling wasn't fun enough, it being nude, try singing in the nude. So, and for more information, you can go to their Facebook page, PBH, which I think is short for Pittsburgh Naturists.
Yeah.
They have a lot of information there. They have a website and so forth. So you definitely want to check that out. But yeah, naked karaoke. I don't. What kind of song would you sing naked?
I would sing "Big Balls" by AC/DC.
Yeah,
yeah. I was thinking about like "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off" or something like that. Some crazy song like that.
Well, I think there's a reason it's going to be karaoke instead of lip syncing, if you know what I mean.
He's here all week, folks. Try the feel. Woohoo!
Bill Clinton would say, "I always like that one."
This one I just threw up here. I totally forgot the first Saturday in May is the Run for the Roses, the 2024 Kentucky Derby. What do you guys think? I haven't even seen the lineup yet. But this is one thing I always tune into. I love the call. Down the stretch they come. You know, if it's a close race, the announcers go ballistic, and they have like a 6-hour pre-show. It's like a Super Bowl event on NBC. They start at like 12 o'clock, and the race post time's like at 6:55 or something like that. But they do like 6 hours of pre-show. What do you guys? You guys horse racer lovers?
Last year I watched it because they played it at the ballpark at the Worcester Red Sox game, so I got to see the race, which was pretty cool, unplanned. You know, there was actually a horse named Two Phils in it too that did pretty well.
I remember
that. But maybe I'll put a few bucks on it this year because I'll be able to watch it because I presume I'll be at the actually at the ballpark on Saturday. So the funny hats that they have are very interesting.
A couple of years ago, Rich Strike. Remember the upset Rich Strike? Rich Strike. He came from behind and beat all the favorites. It was like 2 years ago. It was a huge, big buku payout because he was like 20-1 odds. It was an unbelievable. But yeah, Joe Myers, thank you, Baby Cakes, for that Rich Strike. I remember that. That was a great call. That was, go on YouTube and just Google that and hear this guy when they come down the stretch. He comes out of nowhere in the last turn. He comes out from the back. He comes from the very back and wins the race. It was probably the best run for the Roses I've seen in a long time. But nonetheless.
Speaking of horse racing, one of the funniest comedy routines I ever heard was Red Fox calling a horse race. And two of the horses, one of the horses' names was Annie's Ass, and the other horse's name was My Dick. And he said, "We've just got news. Annie's ass has been scratched. Scratch Annie's ass. That's really a shame because I would have loved to have seen her up against My Dick."
I don't think they scratch Annie's ass replaced with My Dick. Oh my God, where are we going with this? This is crazy. All right.
Naked bowling, karaoke. Yeah, what the hell?
There you go.
Started it, Joe.
All right. So a story came out today. It's actually been circulating for a few hours now. I want to say last night. Hulk Hogan was just recently on the 700 Club. You know, Hulk Hogan, born again. I don't know. He got baptized now. He's going to church. He's doing all this stuff. He's just now coming out saying that Roddy Piper left him a voicemail 2 days after he passed away back in 2015, which we're talking 9 years ago now. I did get a hold of the voicemail, so I'm gonna put this on loop so we can hear. It's like an 8 to 9 second voicemail.
Yeah,
I'm gonna loop it so you guys can hear it a couple of times. But this is Roddy Piper's voicemail. He left for Hulk Hogan, which Hulk Hogan did not get until 2 days after Roddy Piper passed away. So here it is. Take a listen, folks.
I saw the light. I'm walking with Jesus today, my brother. Walking with Jesus, loving you and praying for you. I saw the light. I'm walking with Jesus today, my brother. Walking with Jesus, loving you and praying for you. I saw the light. I'm walking with Jesus today, my brother. Walking with Jesus, loving you and praying for you.
What do you guys think of that? 2 days after his passing. Phil, go ahead. You go first with that.
You know, obviously, my first logical mind tells me or suggests to me that, hey, maybe this is just a function of the phone and the network. And we've all had a delayed message via a text or a voicemail. And given the travel these guys, engage in, and it very well could have been that sort of thing. But another part of me, who's very much into the paranormal and certainly believes in an existence well beyond this.
Sure.
And, the term EVP, I don't mean the young bucks. I mean, this is a phenomenon that occurs where people can set a recording out or a recorder out, and then it can pick up these disembodied voices. But, it's kind of ironic that wrestling's greatest talker of all time, arguably, is speaking from the great beyond, and directing this to Hogan, probably at a time that Hogan needed to hear this. So I think it's awesome. I think it's wonderful. I heard the recording a few years ago in reference to it, but I totally had forgotten about it. I don't think I've ever actually heard it.
But he's claiming now that he didn't receive it until 2 days later. Benny, what are your thoughts on this player?
Well, I'm kind of with Phil. I mean, how many voicemails does Hulk Hogan have every day? And does he check them every 5 minutes like a lot of us do? I mean, it's very possible that it could have been from a week before. But again, like Phil said, to me, there's always that little chance that maybe it wasn't, and that's what makes it interesting.
Sure, timing's everything. A couple of things I have thought on that, like you said, Phil, network issues. Maybe he didn't get it because he had said it was a text message saying that you have a missed voicemail. Then he went and got it. Now we're talking 9 years ago. And
we're talking Hulk too.
We're talking Hulk Hogan.
True.
We're talking a PR stunt. We're talking all that, these logistical stuffs and all that. My biggest thing here is it a PR stunt? 9 years later, he's just found God. He's trying to redeem himself, and it's come to light. And I did not know this, but I probably did years ago. But him and Roddy Piper did not like each other outside the ring. They worked together. They made money together. But after that, all bets were off. These guys didn't go out and have a couple of beers after the matches. They didn't go and hang out together. They didn't do nothing. It wasn't until later in life that they kind of reconnected. And they had, and I think according to Hulk Hogan, this is going back to 2015 now, at the time, right before he got the voicemail and they were talking, Hogan was getting more spiritual. I don't know where he was in 2015. I know there was a lot of, he was fired from the WWE for using the N-word, all that stuff. There was some crazy stuff happening with him and Linda, and we had the Gawker issue and all that stuff, and the website above the Love Sponge and all that. Timing is weird. So, it leads you to wonder, okay, how spiritual was Hulk Hogan at that time? And, I believe in spirituality and all that stuff. I believe that spiritual things are all around us. It's just whether we choose to see it or not. It's a different story. Is his eyes now more wide open? Has he found God? And all of a sudden he's realizing, wow, this voicemail message came to me. Albeit when he received it or listened to it, it was 2 days after, but they kind of reconnected towards the end. Roddy died suddenly, by the way. It wasn't like a long drawn out thing. So they had just spoken of obviously a few days before, and they were going to reconnect and hang out and meet each other. And then of course, Roddy passed away, and 2 days later, he gets his voicemail. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy. These things happen. But I caught wind of that story today, and I got a hold of that voicemail. I'm like, wow, that's a big deal. If he's walking with Jesus and all that stuff, he sounds happy. You can tell it's a Hot Rod's voice. It's definitely him.
Oh, absolutely, his voice.
There's no doubt about it. But I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Absolutely. What a great promo
that's pretty eerie, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like me. I mean, I remember, I don't want to. I'm just saying, when my mother passed away, she died suddenly as well. She left me a voicemail 2 hours before asking her if I can take my grandmother to the hairdresser because she wasn't feeling well. And I think I saved that message for months.
Wow.
But then of course you move, and this is when landline phones were around, so you don't have the landline phone anymore and all that stuff. But just obviously Hogan kept this voicemail for 9 years. So it's it must mean something to him if he's coming.
Yeah, for him to have kept it that long, it definitely has meaning to him.
Had to mean something like that. So yeah, pretty good stuff though. All right, moving on here. I don't want to stay too morbid, but 2003, we lost this young lady. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Can you believe it? May 1st, 2003, Miss Elizabeth passed away. What a beautiful, beautiful sports figure. Just unbelievable. I remember the day crystal clear when Randy the Macho Man Savage had all the managers in the ring and so forth, and was just like, I'm going to introduce you to the new manager. And they all thought, Jimmy Valiant was in there. Everybody was in there thinking they were going to be the manager. And out comes Miss Elizabeth behind this door. And, the rest is history. So while we're talking about it, guys, what are your thoughts on Miss Elizabeth 10 years ago? Unbelievable.
Well, what a classic and elegant beauty, first of all, she did a lot by saying very little, and everything she did counted for something. So whether it's something she said, an action she took, back when she removed the skirt, remember, on the ring apron, and just what the commotion that caused, the big distraction. I mean, she was just so demure and just so polite, and just you really felt. I mean, how could you not like her, right?
Yeah, no,
how could you not feel for her too, given Macho Man's macho treatment of her too, and she served as just such a great foil to him too, and she was. I mean, she was really a trailblazer in just so many ways.
Sure. Play, what are your thoughts, Miss Elizabeth?
She changed everything because, let's face it. I remember that scene when, all the managers were in the ring, none of them were going to win any beauty contest.
You're right.
And here you have, Miss Elizabeth was, to me, like, she's on the Mount Rushmore of beautiful women in the history of this world. She was as close to perfection to me as it could be. And she was like Phil said, she said a lot without really saying much of anything.
Sure.
And just the contrast between like the intensity, of Macho Man, and just her being sweet and innocent. It was a perfect pairing.
Yeah. What amazes me about Miss Elizabeth is you got to go back to, what was it, 84, 85, she debuted. The women wrestlers back then weren't exactly how they are today. I mean, obviously it's looks, athletic ability, and all that stuff. Miss Elizabeth came out behind that door, and you had what was going on here? Like, what's up with this? Like, she took it to a whole nother level when the door opened. Obviously the first wrestling, I don't want to say diva or manager in the WWE, but it's pretty close. I mean, I know you had Moolah and her gang, but to her to come out behind the closed doors and just upstage all, Blassie, Albano, Jimmy Valiant, Slick was in the ring, Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. They were all in there, all thinking they were going to get a piece of the Macho Man, and then boom, the door opens.
Yep.
And I'm sure if ESO was here, he probably remembers that because he was always in attendance at those.
That was definitely an iconic moment in the history of wrestling.
Iconic moment. Miss Elizabeth, gone this day back in 2000.
Gone but never forgotten.
Time never forgotten. All right, last story of the night, folks. Before we wrap this up, because I can't believe we've been on almost an hour. Last night at City Park in New York Mets. Get a load of this, folks. They had a fundraiser of some sorts, and they were giving out selling hot dogs last night for $1. $1 hot dogs. And 44,269 hot dogs were sold at Citi Field last night in New York. The funny part about all this is over 22,880 people were in attendance, which means that everybody in attendance bought at least 2 hot dogs last night at Citi Field. It's a Citi Field record. That's going to be close to a record anywhere in any sporting event. What do you guys think about that? 44,269 hot dogs. How do you plan for something like that? Phil, go ahead.
Staggering at a buck a dog, man. I think the three of us could likely do some damage there. If Joey Chestnut were allowed in, I think it would probably double that number.
He would have bought at least over 50,000.
Yeah, amazing. Lest we not forget, Mitt Romney claimed that hot dogs were his favorite meat. Okay,
there you go. Oh, I remember that.
Such a goofball.
Unbelievable. But what amazes me, though, before I get to you, player, the fact that when you think about you look at the number. I'll put it up there again. 44,269. You think that would be $1 hot dogs? Obviously, they made $44,269 in hot dog sales, but the attendance was half that, 22,880, which means that everybody in attendance went up there, paid $2, and got 2 hot dogs. Boy, what do you think? You think every ballpark should try that?
Yeah, but I do think the one stat that they didn't list was that there were 1,728 overflowing toilets.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Now, if you do go out into the confines of social media after this, there are videos of a man being pelted with the hot dogs. Everybody got unruly in the 9th inning. So there is a video of this guy. He's getting pelted. I was going to put it on here, but I don't want no copyright strikes or anything like that because I don't know whose video it was. He's getting pelted, and they had to escort the man out, even though he's the one getting hit by everybody because he's causing such a ruckus. On his way out of getting escorted, he consumed 6 to 7 hot dogs and 10 beers while getting escorted out. He would grab the hot dogs out of midair and eat them. There's a video there. It's all the video.
That's a multitasker.
And I guess somebody took a picture of him on the train leaving Citi Field, and he was passed out. He was passed out.
Yeah, I can imagine that being a sedative. Sure.
Unbelievable times at Citi Field. I'm just staggered by that number because I don't even know how many hot dogs a normal ballpark, Major League ballpark, sells in any game.
Yeah.
But to see 44,269 hot dogs being sold, that is just astronomical to me.
I go to a lot of minor league baseball.
Sure.
And on Tuesdays at the Clearwater Park now, they're going to have $1 ticket night, $1 ticket, $1 beer, and $1 hot dogs. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure the price drove everything pretty good. $1 hot dogs. I mean, who wouldn't want that? That's like Back to the Future night. You know what I mean? Like having prices like that. And I'd like to see it. I'd like to see Fenway Park do something like that. $1. What's the capacity of Fenway? 32,000 tops?
38,000.
38,000. Monster seats now and everything. So I mean, yeah. Wow.
Well, maybe what'll happen now is like other parks will try to outdo Citi Field.
Yeah. Man, who knows? Who knows? I remember as a kid growing up, we'd grab that hot dog vendor and eat every row. He's like, "How many do you want?" And I'm like, "How many innings do we got to go?" If there were 9 innings left, I bought 9 hot dogs.
I was going to ask you what your capacity you think is to what the most is.
I could eat them all day long. There's something about steamed Fenway Franks at Fenway Park.
Yeah,
there's something magical about eating a hot dog at the ballpark. Absolutely.
Yeah, peanuts, popcorn, hot dogs, you name it.
The biggest line at all the concession stands in this new park, Polar Park I referred to, is at the Coney Island hot dog stand. And it can take you 15 minutes
definitely
to get up and get a hot dog. It's it's that crazy.
I was on a huge kick as I got older. The sausage vendors. I used to eat the sausage. Me and my father would have a sausage before we went in the park.
Yes.
This is before Fenway was big now. Don't forget, growing up, Fenway had like home plate concessions.
Yeah.
And the guys that walked around, and that was it. It's not like it is today where there's vendors every 5 feet. So, you didn't know if you were going to eat legitimately inside. So you grabbed a sausage outside and then you went in and, you ate whatever. And if you got lucky enough to grab the hot dog vendor, you just bought his whole friggin' tub.
They're very persuasive too, Joe. They're like nonstop, like a carnival barker. They do really good stuff. We were in line just like 2 weeks ago waiting, but they were just nonstop. I want to film one of them saying "What a day." There you go. That's my mission.
Yeah.
Wasn't there? I don't know if he's still there. There was a guy in Fenway. He would run up and down from right behind the dugout.
You mentioned that up by Pesky's pole.
Yeah, and he would run up and down. Then there was another guy that would throw the peanuts for like 5 sections over.
They still do some of the peanut launching, yeah,
peanut launching and all that stuff. But the hot dogs were a big. It must have been the steam. Everything was steamed. The hot dogs and the rolls would come out, and you could just. Now I know why Joey Chestnut could eat so many.
He dips it, yeah.
When these things were steamed, it was almost like they were totally wet, but they were just
slide right down, man.
Oh, I'll never forget the night I saw Roger Clemens strike out 20. I'm in the bleachers, and it was.
You were
cold.
there for that?
Yeah, it was
there.
Wow. We went on a whim. We went almost every night that year, and it was during April vacation. It was.
I remember.
I think it was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. Weather was absolute crap, drizzly, crappy. Mm-hmm. I was probably one of maybe 500 people in the bleachers, and the only thing that really kept me warm was some hot chocolate and the hot dogs.
Bleacher creature, man.
Creature. Yeah, and I've told this story before. The night he struck out 20, they said you can redeem your ticket for a future game that year. So we went outside, went to the box office. I got a ticket for later on in September, and that was the day of the afternoon they won the division against Toronto. And Oil Can Boyd was on the horse, and Wade Boggs. Everybody was
Dennis
drunk.
Oil Can Boyd, yeah.
Yep. So I mean, that was a great year, '86.
Absolutely. I had the Clemens T-shirt with the strikeouts too. Yeah, and Yaz's grandson played the other night too. And
did he?
They came in. Yeah, very cool.
Where in Worcester?
No, in Fenway.
Oh, he did. Okay, I didn't
For
know
the
that.
place for the Giants.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the Giants are in town, right? That's
Yeah.
right. Okay. Yeah,
Gave him a good reception too.
I turned on a game the other night. They were clubbing Baltimore 17-0. I was like, holy jeez.
Yeah. We've had it. Yeah, and we beat. Well, we beat the Cubbies like 16-0.
Yeah. You took two out of 3 from them too, and all that stuff. So yeah, unbelievable. I miss the sports up there. That's why we're heading back soon. So, oops, cat out of the bag there. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. You guys got any closing thoughts or what's happening? I know we got a crazy schedule of Money in the Pharaoh this week. I know he's got some live. He's got live shows Thursday and Friday night. So, what do you guys got cooking? Anything? Any true crime player? You got anything cooking?
No, I think we're off until next Tuesday, which is nice. I could use a little bit of a rest.
All right, I'll see you next Tuesday. No.
Boom.
Jeez, that's something I would say.
And so we know to 30 tomorrow night, folks. Just to let everybody know, we are in transition with the new game show, logistics and everything being worked out on that. We are hoping to get that up and running by tomorrow, but I do believe we're going to be back on next week. Don't quote me on that. The boss man has all the information on it, so keep it tuned here to Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube channel. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live, and if you're watching on the replay, greatly appreciated. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Joe Myers, Little Patty, RJ, Jason, the boss checked in.
Loose,
J.A., Will in the house.
You know, it's hard to produce, talk, host, moderate, and check the chat all night long. It's like, thank God for 2 screens, I got to tell you.
You need 7 sets of eyes.
It is true. So, it's all good and fun, though. But I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you both for joining me tonight. So much easier when you're not by yourself. So thank you guys for
fun, man.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
I'm going to go oppress myself and see what I can do with about AEW watching the rest of that show. But I know the main event's going to be horrible. So, anyways, all right, that's going to do it for us, folks. You guys have a great night. I'm going to say what a day. We're out of here. You guys say whatever you want.
Happy hump day.
There
nice
you go.
Guns.
Happy hump day. We'll see you next time, folks. I'm Joe Lowry. What a day.
What a day.
What a day, baby.